So I want to go over how to glue Schedule 80 PVC pipe. So you can see Schedule 80 right here. Now there's several ways to cut it, and you can use a reciprocating saw, a chop saw, a tube cutter, even a pipe threader, like a rigid pipe threader can cut it. So what you have here is you have a primer, PVC, then you have the solvent, cement, okay? So you want to try to keep in mind, like I've worked at places and they've had a couple different brands. I always try to use the same brands of primer and cement. So it's not a bad idea to shake them up beforehand, more so the cement. Usually these things are pretty glued on, and sometimes you got to get a channel locks to get them off, but so actually you can see this stuff's gone bad because it wasn't sealed properly. So I'll get good stuff. So let's say after you've just cut your pipe, what you want to do is get a 120 or an 80 grit, 40 grit, something to just knock this edge off. So it's not really much, and usually, you make sure there's no chips and stuff in there. So it just knocks that edge off. So when you put this, the glue kind of gets pushed in the joint rather than just a square edge, just where it pushes it back into the socket. Okay, so now that you have your your primer and your cement, and your pipe's been beveled and it's been cleaned. So usually what's a good idea is, let's say if you're dry fitting all this stuff, usually probably not a bad idea to mark this, okay? Because the odds are it's got to go back together a certain way. And these kind of sometimes seize up on you, so that's, you can see how far it's got to go in. So what you do, get your primer and you go all the way around. Then you get in the socket, go all the way around, okay? Now keep in mind which side of the socket you've done. Actually, so on the permanent marker side, I'm going to prime my socket. Then what you do is you go around this. Okay. Try not to get it all inside like I just did there. Okay. Get it on the inside here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna push them together and we're gonna turn it. Okay, now you gotta hold it, because sometimes what'll happen is it'll push that joint out. So it takes a little bit. The other thing I like to do is just get a rag and wipe anything excess right there. But you can see the permanent marker lines. You can see that we got the full depth in the socket, and you hold it for about 30 seconds and should be good. Make sure to put the cap back on these really tight, because otherwise they get all dried out like the other ones and all messed up. Now just watch. The biggest thing that I find with this pipe is that people don't, when they're fitting all this stuff up, they don't pay attention that one joint isn't glued. And it looks like it's put together, but pay attention. You can see when something's glued, it has some glue wrapped around here. But really be mindful of making sure you're gluing all your joints as you're going. You can mark it off, whatever, but just don't get lost putting a bunch of pipe dry fit in the roof or the ceiling or something, and then forgetting to glue a joint, and then it turns on and it blows up.